Good morning. It is Saturday, September the 7th, 2019, and this is the 24 hours of Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin providing us a top formation right now and strong sell signals? This is a 10-minute daily report focusing on Bitcoin price today, followed by question and answers. First of all, we'll browse through our disclaimer. This is just market observation and not trading advice. You can pause the video to read through these details. Now we'll jump into the chart. This is the lead chart that I was pointing out, and this is the logarithmic view of Bitcoin with the regular view of Bitcoin in the background. And then I drew a parallel channel in this upward trend, and you may argue that the parallel channel should probably be this wide, and we are just in the middle of the channel. Things are going up to test the top of the channel. That may be. But when I run the channel along these levels, there's some pretty important technical levels that touches on all the way up here. And at the end of it, it's a top formation in our upward trend channel, which means that it really could come back. Now I'm going to go to a different chart, and you may recognize this. And you may think it's a recent chart, but you'd be mistaken. This is 2013 to 2014. And we know that after this top formation, and we went down in a sideways trend for a good year or thereabouts from July, a little bit longer than a year before we bottomed out and took off. And if that's the case, then it wouldn't be surprising for us to come back down and lay along this before we have a test that is going to bring us back up into a bull market. So we'll come right back to the bottom of this channel. And if that's the case, then 6,400 is 6,100 for a spike is certainly possible. And I don't know what the time frame will be, but look how this stretches out easily over to March of 2020. So it'll be a long, cold Bitcoin winter, and hopefully during this time, the altcoins all take off. So let's go now. I probably have used up most of my 10 minutes for this. And now I want to go through the indicator set. So let's start off with the weekly view of the RSI. This is the one thing that is holding me a little bit bullish, is that this is bouncing with a sharp angle from these levels, which it has done in the past when we've seen these prior bull markets here. We can circle them and then go back to see what they look like in scale. We can see that these are consolidation points, much like we have now, that the RSI behaved this way in the weekly view. So we have that first little glimmer of hope holding on here on the RSI in the weekly view that we could still be, let me zoom this back out to where we are. We could still be in a bull market here. This is holding that hope out for me. When I go into the daily view, this is starting to become more alarming as we've had this recent dip. As I'm watching back to see what did the RSI do in the last time we had this kind of triangle before it dropped off, is there any similarities in the top of it or in the bottom of it? What were the prices doing along the bottom, along the top? And start to see, are there similarities in these longer term views of these important indicators that I didn't review this part before. I was all looking for the spring back and pull up, and I still am, so long as we stay inside this triangle and we're watching this manifest. We really cannot see this break back below here. We can't see that, or we are definitely going down. So this is giving us some really specific spots in these indicators on this time frame to be watching for as a check mark. Say, all right, that's bad. This is, or sell anyway, not bad. And a lot of people are saying with this futures backed, or however you say it, this may cause the prices to be driven down so that people can actually get the Bitcoin at the cheapest price possible, which is very likely because no coincidence, it was the first futures contracts opened on December the 14th at exactly the top in Bitcoin. And they drove the prices way down. Maybe, a conspiracy theory and all, doesn't really matter. So long as you have your risk control rules and you know exactly what you're looking for on your entries and your exits before you get into the trade. So let's zoom in now. Where are we here? The 12-hour time frame, and we're looking at the RSI. And now I was looking for the spring back, but I'm also looking for the breakdown and the breakdown now in the RSI. What happened in these breakdowns here, all these tops where it did break down a little bit? What happened in the RSI? Where was that point that when it goes below this level here, we're sinking? So we have a specific area in the daily RSI. We have a specific area in the 12-hour RSI based on past patterns of tops that if it breaks below these levels on the RSI while we are breaking these technical levels, that's confirmation. So we're really nailing it down now because we're so close to this edge. It gives us a place to nail it down. On the 4-hour time frame, this looks like a fill in the blank bear flag. 10 points for John. Here we go. Pull this back, and here is the breaking RSI. The breaking RSI. Watching these patterns now and the slopes of the RSI as prices are breaking. So again, that brings us all right back down to this RSI cannot break down here, or there's a sell signal. Just in the RSI, we're chopping this up pretty good to nail. We'll nail it when this does go. We've got some really clear spots here now. 4-hour time frame. How am I doing for time? This is also starting to look more. I'm wanting it to be bullish. This is the trouble, is I'm wanting to see these bullish trends in it, that it's flat and this is a bullish divergence. And we'll have to see if it breaks above these levels, or if this RSI breaks down while we're sinking. We've got it now in all the RSI time frames. Let's go into the on balance volume. This has consistently shown us weaker volume as the weeks have gone on after we have these reversal candles up along the top. It is upside down capitulation, really. Really, the bulls are capitulating. They just can't do it. And the volume is showing that and confirming it. So if I go into the daily view, I got something out of whack here. Then we have been watching this divergence play out and trying to see a bullish view of it, trying to see that it's something like this. And we're having this consolidation, and this selling is okay so long as we go into a buying stance. That's true. But unless we do that, there's no bull coming. We need this now. And you can see that it was for a while here through March and April that we went sideways, and there was all of that excess doubters selling, getting all soaked up here. Right now, this isn't showing it. It's not turning around for us. So it's supporting a sell signal in this stance right now on the 1-day view. Let's clear this off and go into the 12-hour. This is where I'm trying to be bullish. And I'm looking for the volume on this corner. I'm looking for that excuse that that's the volume that's going to pick us up off the ground and get us going. And it's not going to happen unless we get above these levels. Another clear spot that if this turns into negative selling volume as we are seeing our RSI break, we've got, like shake the hand right there. Done deal. Let's go into the 4-hour time frame. Ouch. All right. So I'm wanting to be bullish and having to say that is not bullish. That is a bearish. We got a lot of volume here. We don't have as much volume on this run up. The bulls just didn't have it. And then they got the punch to the stomach, and they're reeling right now saying, no, I'm fine. Bah. No, the next one's coming. So we'll see how this goes. I don't like this selling, that we got the selling going on here and heavier selling on this level. So again, this is all supporting bearish so far, and it can absolutely flip as soon as this volume changes to the positive and we're breaking above these levels. Now we really have to stage above these levels again to get back our heartbeat in any kind of bull. We gotta hold this right now. We'll see how it plays out. Now let's go on to the MACD indicator. MACD has been bearish for a while. This crossed over, and that's bearish. And then we have all of the denial going on, including my own, as we go into this daily view. And for a long time, I've been circling this, saying that if we bounce and this crosses over, we're going to be sailing down. It bounced, it crossed over, but then it held itself. And we didn't have that back over here. So that was the first little possibility that we were going to bounce up from here and bounce instead. However, now as we're watching this, we've got another clear point to be observing. Should we be breaking below these prices and our RSI is breaking, and this has turned and started to cross negative, we're in for it. And the sellers are going to be making the profits. So now, wait a second, I jumped ahead. That's the daily view. So now I want to zoom in on this daily view, and I want to use my microscope and get into this edge right now to see what's happening inside this, what's going on with the momentum on this. And we'll do that by going into the 12-hour view, and we can see that this is running out of steam. We've got this histogram is easing back. It's not growing, it's easing back. And when the histogram is easing back, it's potential for it to go down, especially if this crosses negative. Now we have, it was looking so good. Bullish cross, sort of a bullish cross, looking good, taking off from there. But now the flip side is apparent. We have the bearish cross, we have the bearish cross. This would be a bearish cross, and mixing with our RSI and those technical levels, we're done. We are in the basement. And short sellers are going to be dancing a jig. So here we are in the 4-hour time frame. This has already crossed, tried to cross positive again and failed on this higher high. We've got a lower high cross here. Did I not see that divergence in the 4-hour RSI? Did I skip past that? I did. Otherwise, it would be marked. It would still be here. Look at this divergence going on. Whoops. So we've got the divergence in the RSI on the 4-hour. We've got the divergence in the MACD on the 4-hour. That's not so good. So if this is flaring wider while prices are coming down, if this continues to flare wider, if these histograms get longer, sellers are dancing and the buyers are crying the blues. 15-minute time frame. If this is crossing over and starting to flare, it will match with this breaking below this 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, and a break on these levels is not so good, especially on these crosses. We know all of our indicators now. We know specific spots where, should it be crossing those, we're in for it. Let's go see what the Ichimoku cloud says. Then we'll look at Bitcoin dominance. We'll look at a little bit what this means for the altcoins. I have to drag that report over. And then I'll look at the chat for any altcoin requests. Now let's go into the weekly view of the Ichimoku cloud is still bullish, and it'll stay bullish for quite a long time, I think. I think it'd probably stay bullish until March of 2020, when my estimation says that we might be taking off finally from there. But when we go into the daily view, this has never been a buy signal. I want to go back now and I want to review what is going on with the Ichimoku cloud before we had that break. What is going on with the Ichimoku cloud now? We are below this cloud. If we don't get above it, we are definitely in the basement. We are on our way down, and this would be like the moment to be selling. It's a sell signal in a downtrend for this Ichimoku cloud, especially if this blue and the red line don't cross positive, but they start to widen again. If they gap wider, that's going to be a confirmation of the sell signal. So we're getting these confirmations all over the place and lining them up. You could put them in a spreadsheet and say, when this happens, check, check, check. Okay, now the trade checks off. On the 12-hour time frame, this was pushing up to come out of the cloud, and it was actually looking a little bit bullish. We have the cross to the bull. We have the green line going through and crossing through the price, the blue line and the red line. It didn't get up above the cloud. The cloud did not twist positive. Price sort of got above the cloud, but not really. Now, the only thing that's holding this back from being a sell signal in a downtrend right now is that the blue line has got to cross over the red line, while everything and the green line crossed through again here. So we'll watch the 12-hour over the day here to see if when this is breaking, we'll come back and double check. Did this actually happen and this crossed over? That'll be great verification. On the 4-hour time frame, this was a buy signal yesterday and still holding it. Even though prices came back, it was still holding above the cloud. The green line is above everything. It's all still saying just chill out. It's okay for now. But since that time, we are coming up to a cross. And the 4-hour time frame can go above the cloud, below the cloud, above the cloud. That's not, it oscillates a lot. And so this is always an early indicator, but take it with a grain of salt as well, because it can really oscillate a lot, especially if we're going sideways. Now we'll go into the 1-hour time frame. This was also yesterday was looking like a buy signal in an uptrend. As it came off of this cloud and was pulling out, it did. Now your risk control rules always have to follow your stops if you're getting into a trade. Always, because this happens. This happens so often that you have to be ready for it in advance. You have to plan for it. You have to expect it. And if it doesn't happen, bonus. But it happens so often that if you don't plan for this and build this into your trading plan, the very first moments of your trade, you're not eliminating the risk at the riskiest times of the trade. It will come back and bite you at one time or another. It's bitten me more times than I wanted to. So I repeat this stuff as much for my own training. So every single trade, I have that habit. Now let's go on to the Bitcoin dominance chart. It is actually flattening out here. Let's see. As this matures, we'll watch to see if this confirms to be a top formation. It is within its uptrend for sure, but anytime it's making a potential top formation, I'm watching to see what the alts are doing, to see if they're making a bottom formation at the same time. And we can do that quickly by looking at the multicoincharts.com, and I have it set for Bitcoin on the 1 minute, Ethereum on the 1 minute, Litecoin on the 1 minute, and Ripple on the 1 minute. All of them right now lined up so that I can see the difference between what Bitcoin is doing and the alts. This will give me a good average of sort of an advanced tick on Bitcoin dominance of what it's doing. If all three of these are making bottom formations and moving up, as they are here now. Well, these are 5 minutes. Then it may be that Bitcoin is going to be sliding off from here, and we'll see them both working together. Last time this happened, the alts gave warning first. They started breaking out of their bottom formations and moving, and then Bitcoin broke and reacted to it. It's as though the big guys are preparing in advance and they're already moving their money into the alts quietly, trying not to raise prices before Bitcoin prices get hammered. And they are just going to float all the way up, and then they're going to float all the way up on the altcoins. So let's grab the altcoin spreadsheet. Where'd that go? Here's the September bull market watch. And we can see, if I could circle this, it'd be awesome. But we can see that there's been a big change here. Whoops. We have 86 gone to near fail status. And the fail status has dropped down to 42. Let's go take a look at those numbers right at the end of the chart. We have 24 now in fail status, down from 64, down from 67, 62, 64, failing down to new lows. Now there are only 24 failing down to new lows. We had 50, 35 at near fails. Now that's up to 86, which is the first start of the bullishness. They're no longer failing to new lows. We've also seen a significant shift from neutral back. So there's more coins going back up into the neutral stance. Now we're going to watch for them to edge again from neutral. You'll see them going up to a neutral stance and then a bunch going into the alert stance. This is when we know that the altcoin bull market is going to be starting. And from this report, we have the data to see which of the coins are most likely to be starting at the very beginning. We can filter that down now so that we can see which are the coins that made these runs up at the beginning, which are the coins that made these runs up, and which of these are going to be the most likely to go into alerts first, so we can put our money into those first. And we'll see which ones have failed, they're way back, they may be maturing later, and we can take some of our profits from the first movers and move them back into that second set as it unfolds. Now let's jump back into the price of Bitcoin live, zoom into it, and see what's actually happening. Now I'm going to go over and check out the chat. Have a sip of coffee. Find which tab I'm in. Over tabbed for sure. Trader Rituto, good to have you along. 2012 Reggae Man, good to have you here. Are you guys planning shorts on these markets? Right now I am flat, even on the market, not in a long, not in a short, just waiting for the signal to verify one way or the other. While it's going sideways, I'm just not going to fight with it. And how long did it take me to get through that? I did not do it in 10 minutes, probably 14 minutes at the beginning there. So if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit thumbs up and subscribe. We go through this same routine every day where we are reviewing those same indicators against Bitcoin prices and comparing it to our general overall trading plan. If you haven't already, be sure to head over to the website. There's a link down below. Put in your email address and I will send you a webinar with our complete trading system that I'm using on this live stream. It's an ideal starting point for those who are beginning in technical analysis, but it's also a great reset point if you've been struggling with these trades. If you've taken a big loss, you owe it to yourself to start digging into a different perspective on approach to trading. I lost all my money more than one time and had to learn some lessons the hard way. So as I learned those lessons, I wrote my trading journal, and over the years, I rewrote my trading journal into the order that I wish I would have learned these things first, and then these things, and then these things. And I built that into a course that I've been teaching since 2015. You can get the free training if you're just beginning in trading, if you don't have the funds for it. But if you have the money and you see the potential, you owe it to yourself to go through what I've put together over the last 20 years, especially the last 5 years in cryptocurrency trading. It's the perspective change, not the technical analysis. You have the tools, you already put in the time. If you're not already being profitable, then you owe it to yourself to check this course out. Check out the free training. It'll tell you if the course is for you or not. But in the meantime, looks like Bitcoin, for me, it looks like it's stalling out and coming down. And I'm super bullish. I'm expecting the big parabolic wave up, but it may not be yet. If I go back to the weekly view so we have space in the chart. This wouldn't be crazy at all. Wouldn't be crazy at all. There's the, again, 2020, 2022. Let's hope not. Well, that was a soliloquy with no audio. My mistake. I appreciate you putting that in there, but you probably followed along as I was pointing out the charts. I'm going to sign off for now so that I can go through the altcoins in detail over on the other channel where we cover that every day. And it's time to go over there and go through the charts and see what our indicators are telling us. So if you haven't already, head over to the website, put your email address in, get that free course now before these bottom formations all shape up and they take off and you learn about it later. This is the time to get this information. I will talk to you in the next live stream. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers. Bye for now.